In the early morning hours at precisely 04:12 local time, the guided missile destroyer USS Porter detected an unexpected Russian naval formation closing fast through the icy waters of the North Atlantic near the southern approaches to Greenland. This was no ordinary patrol. It unfolded in one of the planet's most strategically vital ocean stretches. The USS Porter, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer commissioned in the early 2010s, was conducting a routine freedom of navigation operation known as a FONOP in international waters. These operations protect the right of all vessels to pass freely through open seas and straits, as guaranteed by the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and customary international law. The Porter was transiting the southern edge of the GIUK Gap, the critical corridor between Greenland, Iceland, and the United Kingdom. This gap has been a key choke point since the Cold War, when NATO monitored it intensely with sonar, aircraft, and ships to block Soviet submarines from reaching the Atlantic. Today, melting Arctic ice opens new routes and resources, making control of the GIUK Gap essential for NATO and potential rivals alike. The sea state was moderate Beaufort scale, 4 to 5 with choppy 4 to 8 foot waves, white caps and drifting sea ice that threatened hulls and sonar. Low fog reduced visibility, typical where cold Arctic air meets warmer Atlantic water. On the bridge, the atmosphere was professional. Gas turbine engines hummed steadily. Radar consoles beeped softly. Watchstanders exchanged quiet bearings, and encrypted comms crackled occasionally. Crew wore cold-weather gear parkas, gloves, watch capses. Exterior temperatures hovered near freezing. The Porter displaces about 9,200 tons, carries roughly 320 sailors, and features vertical launch systems for Standard and Tomahawk missiles, plus anti-submarine weapons. Its Aegis combat system integrates powerful radars and computers to track and engage hundreds of targets beyond 200 miles. The SLQ-32 electronic suite passively detects and records enemy radar and communications, making the ship a top intelligence platform in contested waters. The crew stayed alert but controlled. They knew Arctic conditions complicate matters: ice masks, sounds, fog hides visuals, cold stresses gear, yet the mission continued calmly until it changed. The radar operator announced clearly, multiple surface contacts bearing 045 degrees, range 26 nautical miles, speed 22 knots, closing rapidly. Displays soon showed two Udaloy-class destroyers, 1980s-era Soviet anti-submarine ships of 8,000 tons, approaching from the northeast. These vessels rely on strong sonars and torpedoes, but have limited modern upgrades. Two Admiral Grigorish-class frigates appeared next, newer 2010s ships with vertical launch tubes for Kalibra cruise missiles closing from south and west at 30 knots. They formed the tightening box, Udaloy's leading, Grigorovich's flanking a classic envelopment to restrict maneuver. The captain ordered close tracking and full emission logging. As ranges shrank, the projected closest point of approach, CPA, dropped below 2 nautical miles, dangerously close amid ice and waves. This was deliberate challenge, not coincidence. The intelligence value emerged quickly. Udaloy's excel at submarine hunting with bow sonars and towed arrays. Grigorovich's offer modern strike power via 32-cell vertical launchers for rapid missile salvos. As they closed, Porter's SLQ-32 captured radar pulses, frequency hops, modulation details, and mode shifts, including transitions to fire control illumination for missile guidance. Hydrophones recorded propeller noise and engine signatures for acoustic profiling. This SIGINT data signals intelligence feeds threat libraries, speeding future identifications and refining countermeasures. The Russians, by approaching aggressively, handed over key electronic and acoustic fingerprints. Aegis tracked all contacts continuously, calculating vectors in real time. The mode change to fire control raised the stakes sharply. The Russians pressed their pursuit, wakes foaming white across dark water in tight formation. Projections showed CPA falling, 4.8 miles, 3.1, then 1.4 nautical miles. In the GIUK Gap's confines, with ice hazards, this proximity challenged safe navigation directly. The captain, binoculars in hand at the bridge windows, ordered steadily, maintain course and speed. We are in international waters. Every Russian maneuver course shifts, speed changes, radar adjustments was logged precisely. This exemplified gray zone warfare, actions below armed conflict to intimidate, test reactions, gather intel, and assert presence without shots fired. Yet Porter held firm. Sensors harvested radar tracks, thermal exhaust signatures, and propeller acoustics. As the nearest Eudailoi closed under 3 miles, passing wakes rocked the ship gently. The formation felt like a wolf pack circling, but the destroyer refused provocation, maintaining disciplined precision. To counter the pressure, the captain launched an MH-60R Seahawk helicopter configured for surface warfare and intel. It lifted off, climbed to 500 feet, and orbited 6 miles out. Using FLR high-resolution thermal imaging, the crew identified a flashing emitter on a Grigorovich, likely a laser rangefinder or designator. Over VHF bridge-to-bridge radio, a Russian-accented voice transmitted, "American warship, alter course immediately to avoid close quarters." The Porter identified the source, logged it, and prepared a calm reply. The Seahawk added overhead surveillance, dipping sonar for subsurface threats, and weapons exceeding some Russian capabilities, turning Russian aggression into richer intel gains. Bridge response stayed measured. The captain authorized, "This is USS Porter. We conduct lawful FONOPs in international waters. Maintain safe distance and avoid collision risk. No emotion, just facts and norms." He directed, "Continue emissions collection. No changes. Log all." Discipline Corps Navy training turned provocation into advantage. Consoles hummed with methodical work, timestamps on bearings, mode switches, transmissions. No panic, only quiet efficiency. A young ensign whispered, "They're testing us, but we're not blinking." Tension held for 30 full minutes in silent standoff. Then changes appeared. One Udaloi veered north, speeding up slightly. Grigorovich's slowed to 15 knots and turned outbound. A lookout reported quietly, "They're breaking formation, they're backing off." The captain confirmed through binoculars and ordered, "Maintain course, secure from general quarters." Well done. The tactical plot showed a complete picture, every change captured. No shots, no collision. Russians withdrew into fog without forcing reaction. Porter steamed on, carrying terabytes of data for analysts. They blinked first. This fits Russia's broader Arctic gray zone pattern, deploying ships, subs, and aircraft to probe NATO, map responses, collect intel, and normalize presence as ice recedes. Near Greenland, it masses due to the island's GIUK position and US interests via Thule Air Base. These calibrated actions stay below war threshold while pressuring politically. Implications are clear. Each encounter refines US doctrine, improves sensors, exposes Russian vulnerabilities like outdated Eudalois, external missile targeting needs, predictable maneuvers, and bolsters alliances. NATO partners see measured US strength. For Cold War veterans recalling 1980s GIUK Gap patrols, it reminds intimidation fails against disciplined, superior tech that avoids escalation. Intelligence collection turns coercion into gain. The pattern test, measure, repeat backfired, revealing challenger weaknesses. In the end, discipline wins. Professionalism, international law adherence, and calm knowledge accumulation via sensors prevailed over intimidation. For more clear analysis of naval operations and threats, subscribe to Naval Insights channel. Share your view in comments, deliberate intimidation, or escalated routine patrol. Thank you for watching.